Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I want to say thank you so much for pushing play on yet another episode, and thank you so much to all of the new subscribers. So, hey, everyone. What a hit that last episode was. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun answering your questions. I had a few people email in about the questioning sort of feminine and masculine as well. So I want to address that too. Just in case you haven't heard the previous episodes, or in case the idea of energy and it being masculine or feminine is new to you, let me just share that, all of us, regardless of how we identify, have what's called masculine and feminine energy. Now, that's how I learned it from my spiritual teacher and from teachers around the world when I was traveling. I went to, as you know, Morocco and Glasgow and where else did I go? Oh my gosh, Marrakesh and, well, that's in Morocco, Egypt, everywhere. That's how I learned it. In Eastern culture, so when I was studying in Beijing, we learned it there as it was the same concept, but it had a different name. They called it yin and yang. So don't get caught up on the name. The idea is that we have these two different energies within us, and that's all it is. And I believe, and so do many other teachers, that in order for you to live a healthy and fulfilling and beautiful, just nourishing life, you do that through an integration of these energies. And that's what we call flow. It's not getting stuck in one energy. We also know that when we are investing a lot of our energy in one of those areas and we ignore the signs that we're not harmonizing and integrating them, what happens is we see these be manifested in our body, like sore shoulders, sore necks, sore backs, all of that sort of stuff, headaches, eye strain, everything. So this is not a new concept to many of you, but for some of you, you're hearing this for the first time. So I just wanted to cover that because, as you know, in the last episode, we spoke about the role of feminine energy and we spoke about wounded feminine and moving that energy, getting that flowing back up to that level of the divine, sacred, awakened feminine. And today I want to unpack a little bit more about the masculine energy because it's a great time for a little bit of a revision about that. So, okay, what do I want to share with you? All right, so I want to apply this, of course, to private practice because I want you to be able to hear each and every episode and get something really juicy out of it that you can go away and implement so that by the end of this year, you have a perfect for you private practice, seeing your perfect for you clients, okay? So let's get on with it. So for those of you who don't know or who are new to this, let me just cover off what the masculine energy embodies really, or what it represents an embodiment of. So we have what's called an awakened masculine energy. It's also called sacred and divine masculine energy. And then we have the unhealthy or the wounded or the unawakened masculine energy. So it's, again, we've got this polarity, don't we? It's the one stick, as Esther Hicks would say, but we've got two ends of the one stick. So what does this look like in business? Well, first off, a healthy masculine energy is depicted by when we're able to do things that support the business. And these things are very structural. It's the masculine energy that provides the foundations for your private practice. It's the masculine energy that is going to support you by ensuring you have all of the right processes in place, all of the right documents in place. You know what you're doing. Somebody else could come into your practice, like maybe an admin person or reception, and they would be able to pick up your operations manual. I know, I just felt that. Some of you are like, operations manual? I'm a solo practitioner. We'll get to that in a minute. But they should be able to pick that up and run with it. And getting that all together, you need to be in that really healthy masculine energy. The masculine energy is also responsible for ensuring that every single, substructure in your business is built on the correct foundations. This is really important. And an analogy that I really like to use is that of a house. To me, the masculine energy comes in and does the surveying of the land, and then it lays the foundations, it puts in the walls, it leaves space for the windows and the doors, it puts the roof on, maybe it puts in some heating or some cooling or something like that. It puts in the built-in wardrobes, and it puts in the bathrooms and all of that sort of stuff. It connects the amenities, the utilities, so that the building can live and breathe. And once all of that's done, once all of those foundations are set up, the role of the masculine then is to maintain everything that's going on, to repair cracks in the ceiling, cracks in the walls, burst pipes, all of those sorts of things. So the masculine's constantly going to survey, constantly going to come into that building and do inspections and make sure that that building is being really well maintained, so we can minimize the chance of you needing to make an insurance claim. The feminine energy comes next. So the feminine energy is going to be a part of the vision for what the house is going to look like. The feminine energy is going to say, well, I want it to face the lake, and I want it to be in an established area with lots of trees. So that feminine energy is going to be part of the initial vision. Masculine energy is going to put everything together so that then the feminine feels nice and safe coming into the house to decorate it, to put up the nice window treatments, to stock the pantry with beautiful, healthy, nourishing foods, to set up a meditation space, to plant beautiful flowers in the garden, to plant fruiting trees in the garden, to create a really beautiful, entertaining area that she just loves. It feels sumptuous and luxurious, and it's just good for her soul to be there. And then she's going to open up the doors and start inviting people in. So the feminine is all about being creative, making that space a home, welcoming people in, nurturing them, looking after them, making sure they have all that they need, so that when they go to leave, they're leaving with full bellies and they're leaving feeling good, feeling held, feeling seen, feeling heard. She's going to hold that space for them while they're there. And then they're going to leave and they'll come back another time. So this is what we mean by that beautiful interplay and understanding the roles of the masculine and the feminine energy. So applying that to private practice, you can already start to see what this is going to look like. That healthy, awakened masculine energy is going to be responsible for ensuring you've got everything you need. All the foundations are in place for your practice. And in practical terms, that looks like making sure you have your policies and documents and procedures, making sure you have your qualifications and insurances and memberships, making sure you have a marketing plan, making sure you've got a marketing structure, making sure you're meeting your professional development requirements or your supervision requirements. It's going to mean making sure that you are tracking your numbers, tracking your key performance indicators, all of those sorts of things. The feminine is going to come in. The masculine's going to buy the domain name and, buy the platform for you to host the website on. But the feminine's going to come in and she's going to create the logo and the colors and the feel and the vibe and unleash her creativity to make the space feel alive, warm, nurturing, healing. She's going to make sure that there are things to look at that are pleasing, whether it's a salt lamp or a selenite lamp or a plant or something like that. She's going to be involved with making sure that the space smells good. Maybe she's got a candle lit or some incense lit. She's going to make sure that there's beautiful furnishings around that make a client feel really welcome and held and safe and supported and all of those sorts of things. She's going to build the relationships with the clients and with any third-party stakeholders. The masculine will set up the meetings with any third-party referrers, but it's the feminine that's going to go there and create those beautiful relationships. And what I see and what I know happens for many people that I get to work with is that there's some confusion around the masculine and the feminine. Plus, there's also a default to the masculine when we don't know what we're doing or when we're not seeing the results that we want. And all that does, defaulting to the masculine, is it makes things 10 times worse because you still don't see results, yet you're working doubly hard. You're losing energy instead of feeling energized. You're starting to feel defeated, depleted, all of those things. Your confidence is starting to wane. So all of those things are signs that yin and yang or the chi and prana or the masculine and feminine are out of balance and simply need to be brought back into balance. That's what I want to share with you today. So how do you know if you're operating in healthy masculine, or how do you know if you're operating in wounded? Well, the first thing to understand is one of the key differences between masculine and feminine is that the masculine energy is forward moving. It's action oriented, it's results focused. Okay. So if you're in your practice and nothing's happening, you're not getting the flow of referrals that you want, or you're not getting the followers or the engagement or the open rates on your email or the bookings or whatever it is, chances are many of you, not all, but many of you may find yourself defaulting to the doing. What more can I do? Who else should I meet with? Jumping into Facebook groups and complaining and saying, hey, this isn't working for me. I suck at this. This is really hard. What am I doing wrong? What else should I be doing? I'm marketing on 7 different platforms. Where else should I be marketing? So we go back to that wounded, unawakened doing state. When in fact, what you need to do is going to feel highly counterintuitive, because instead of doing, you need to be in the being energy. And that being energy is the feminine. And the feminine energy is where you're open to receiving. You can't be in 2 energies at once. Okay? Kind of like how you can't think of 2 things at the one time. You can't be in the 2 energies at once. If you find that you're defaulting back to what else could I do to get X, Y, and Z, that's an indicator that this isn't about what you're doing or what you're not doing. This is about how you're showing up. This is about who you are being. And this is about the mindset that you have at the moment. And that takes us back to what we've shared in previous episodes as well. I was going to say previous sessions. In previous episodes as well, about the 4 levels of consciousness, right? We don't want to be in that to me consciousness where we're feeling like we're at the mercy of everything. We have no control. We're totally powerless. And so we're going to default to the doing to try and fix things. No, that's not how it works. We want to move into the being energy. But how do you do that when it just feels so wrong? Well, the first thing is to understand why you're in the doing anyway. And I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, it was just normal. Like I saw it on TV, I saw it in the world. I saw everybody, working hard, working long hours. And, it was like a badge of honor, wasn't it? You had to work hard and you will be rewarded. And I believe that too. As you know, I did that for a long time, worked hard. So it can be a big shift to realize, hang on, this has very little to do with what I'm doing, and it has more to be with who I'm being. So have a look at who you are being as a solopreneur, as a practitioner, as a business owner. Who are you being? Is this the version of you that does receive referrals? Okay. What is the energy that you're putting out behind everything that you're doing? Is that energy attracting or repelling? Start thinking about, simple things that you can do to tune in to that being energy. Because if you're in a pushing, shoving energy, you're going to push and shove people away. So start thinking about, how could I shift my energy, even though on the outside it looks like I'm not seeing the results that I want yet? How can I shift my own energy? And a very simple way to do that is with a gratitude practice. But this is the thing, it needs to be a practice. It needs to be a daily practice. Okay, it needs to be daily practice. It's not enough to read a gratitude diary or a gratitude journal or do it once and feel nice for 5 minutes. It doesn't work like that. You have to look for examples throughout the day of things that you like to receive, because what that's going to do is that's going to send a vibrational message out to the universe that, oh, he or she or they want more of this. Okay. And so you'll start to see more of that. And this links back to the neuroscience that we were talking about 2 or 3 episodes ago, in terms of your reticular activating system or your RAS. That part of your brain there is going to bring you back things that are matching your beliefs. This is what we mean when we say you get to choose your reality. So if you're focusing on lack and you're focusing on what you don't have, and you're in that wounded masculine space, you're going to see more lack. You're going to see more examples of what you don't have. If you feel unworthy, not good enough, if you feel like other people are doing it, better than you, however you describe better than you, that's what you will see more of. So here's the thing, you get to choose how you're going to shift this. And the way that we shift this from that wounded feminine is we start to say, okay, I acknowledge where I'm at now. This is where I am. This is where I want to be. And we take aligned action, the right aligned action for us to start to embody that version of ourselves that we need to be in order to receive. Remember, masculine is doing, feminine is receiving. I'm not perfect at this either. I still catch myself, sometimes I can sit in front of the computer for a whole day and I can think to myself, geez, man, I've been working this whole time and I've got nothing done. Or I can say, I've been working solidly in front of the computer for this many hours and I still haven't seen this, or I don't have a referral, or why didn't that person call me back, or why isn't it working? That type of vibe. But then, as you know, when I step away from the computer and I do go for a walk, or I do go out with my sister to Mornington and get the frozen yogurt, someone pays me in full for something. I'm in receiving mode because I've disconnected. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not in front of the computer. You all know I've deleted all my social media from my phone, so I don't even have that distraction anymore. And that supports me in leaning into the feminine of being. If I had all those apps on my phone still, I would not be switching off. I'd be watching Netflix with my mum and Gabe, and I'd be scrolling on my phone. Not present, not being. I'd be in that doing. So what does wounded feminine energy look like, and how do you know if you're in it? Well, first of all, not wounded feminine, wounded masculine. Wounded masculine is when you're being in an energy, for example, that's really competitive, but it's almost unhealthy because you're starting to see that you're not performing to the level that you want to perform. You're comparing yourself to others. The wounded masculine micromanages everything. So this is where you're in private practice, but you are doing your accounting, your bookkeeping, your advertising, your meet and greets with referrers. You are doing your website, you are doing your social posts, you are writing your emails, you are doing all of the things. That's wounded because you're micromanaging. Now, before you say anything, I know when you are first starting out and you're, building your money flow, you do wear all the hats. I get that. And I know too that there are some of you, despite making 7 figures, still do many of the things because you enjoy doing it. And that's okay too. But there's a whole bunch of us in the middle that are in that space in an unhealthy way. And when I say that, I mean it's like if I said to you, why don't you just outsource your social media? You might say, oh, that's going to be a headache and I don't trust anyone to do it. And well, I have to give out my password, Brooklyn. And oh, what if they stuff it up? And what if there's spelling mistakes in it? And what if it's not what I really want? Okay. Or if I say to you, what if you outsource your admin? What if you get virtual admin and you get somebody on board to help you with that? It's that need for control that's going to stop you from allowing the business to grow and get what you need. And it's going to keep you stuck in that space. Other things about the wounded masculine is there can be a level of aggression, a level of resentment, all those kinds of things. It's very constricting energy. It's an energy that's very stressful because you're not allowing yourself time to be in the feminine and disconnect. And it impacts not only how you show up and how you run your practice, but of course it impacts other things around the practice, like your relationships as well. So what does a healthy masculine look like? Well, a healthy masculine energy is trusting. That healthy masculine energy puts everything in place that's needed for the practice and then steps back and monitors it. It does regular inspections to make sure everything's going really well and smoothly. It will make the occasional tweak here and there to keep everything really running optimally. Kind of like with your house. You know how you have to run around every, few months. Well, I don't know if you do, but I do. I do a quick lap of the house, once a quarter, and I just make sure, are any of my taps leaking? Are the roof tiles moved from the possums out here? How's my fence looking? As you know, I've got fence drama at the moment. So I want to run around and make sure that my house is being well maintained. And if there's anything that needs to be repaired or fixed, I want to get in there and do that straight away. And I'm going to hire someone to do that. I'm not going to do my own plumbing, right? I'm not going to repair my own window. I'm not going to build my own new fence. I'm going to outsource that. And I'm going to trust that the people who do it are qualified and know what they're doing. And I'm going to pay them to do it. It's going to be something that's taken off my plate. And then I know I'm good for the next 3 months. See what I mean? So that's what we kind of want to get in place for you too. It's this idea of, well, we set it up, we maintain it, and from time to time we make tweaks. From time to time we might do things like add an extension, which might be a new product, it might be a new program, it might be a new group program, it might be a new online offering, it could be a new course, whatever it is, but we might make an extension. There might be other times we do a renovation. Maybe we give something that we're currently offering to our clients a makeover. That's all masculine stuff. And when we're in the healthy masculine, we understand our zone of control. We understand that it's safe to outsource. We understand that, we're in control. We are the boss, the manager, all of that sort of good stuff. We look to other businesses and other practices not as competition because we know what we do is unique and stands alone, kind of like your home. Okay, no two homes are exactly the same inside and out. Neither are private practices, but we don't compare our homes, and so we're not going to compare our private practice. That's the masculine, healthy, awakened energy doesn't compare in a way that's unhealthy. That masculine energy will look at other houses and say, okay, this is how I'm different, and I'm really going to embody this, and I'm going to amp it up a little bit more. Okay. So like for my house is very bohemian. I've got grasses everywhere, and everything's in cream and white. Yes, I know some people find that boring, but that's just me. And it's got, natural tones, and I've got lots of lush green indoor plants. I've got all my fiddle leaf figs everywhere. I've got, herbal teas on my desk, as well as my coffee pot, salt lamps, crystals, lots of brown leather. I love, 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 love. I know there are other houses in my street that might be doing, their own interior decorating. That's fine. It doesn't mean mine's worse or mine's bad or anything like that. It's just mine's different to theirs, and I'm totally fine with that, because that's the healthy masculine energy. If I looked at other people's interior design or how they've decorated their house, and I was like, oh my gosh, theirs is so much better than mine, I'm boom, back in the wounded masculine, and I'm boom, back in the wounded feminine. I'm comparing in an unhealthy way. So, how do you know when you're operating in healthy masculine or unhealthy masculine? I guess have a look this week at what you're doing. Have a look at what you're doing and how you're feeling and who you're being. And I want you to really unpack it at the end of the week. So when you listen to Saturday's episode, I want you, before or after that time, to be able to sit down and really say to yourself, okay, so I was super duper busy here. How did I feel? Well, I felt productive, but was I actually progressing the needle? What did I receive? Was I aware of what I was receiving? What kind of energy was I in when I was working in the business? And how did that compare from task to task? That's really important to tune into, because many of us are fantastic at the direct therapy, that beautiful client work, holding space for our clients. That's separate to the energy that we're in outside of the session when we're working on the business. Okay, what's the energy you bring to your admin, for example? Maybe I shouldn't go there, right? So I think the first step to knowing where you're at and knowing what to change is by becoming aware of what you're doing and who you're being in your business on a day-to-day basis, and then reflect on Saturday or Sunday about, okay, was I in my healthy masculine here, or was that wounded masculine here? Was this healthy feminine here, or was this wounded feminine here? And just, have that quadrant and make a note throughout the week of what you're doing and who you're being, and see what it looks like at the end of the week, and see if things are where you want them to be. And you can make an action step for yourself afterwards about, okay, how do I want to shift what I was doing or who I was being in these different areas that come up for you. Okay, so I want you to understand the difference between the masculine and the feminine so that you can start to integrate them and harmonize them, because I want you to be able to help people and pay yourself, and do it by being in the energy of the clients that you really want to work with, the energy of the type of practice that you want to have, and by feeling safe to step away from the computer, your email, your social. Okay? So that's your homework this week. Get a piece of paper, put the 4 quadrants there, label them, whatever you like. That as you know, they're called either awakened, sacred, or divine, masculine and feminine. And then you have wounded, unawakened, or unhealthy, masculine and feminine at the bottom. And just start tracking each day what you're doing and who you're being. And you might be surprised what you see by the end of the week. So I hope this really helped. Thank you very, very much for listening. I have a few things on this week myself too. So yesterday was a public holiday, which was awesome because I'm getting super protective of my downtime now. I have booked a week leave for the end of March. So I'm going away to beautiful Daylesford. Gabe is going to babysitting. So I don't put him in a kennel. He's always had a babysitter and it's like his second family. So he'll be going over there. And then, do you know what? I thought to myself yesterday, I'm so excited about having this week away. And I know that I will still be showing up from time to time on my social. And I know I'm still going to be doing some work. Like I want to take some really nice photos. I want to record some things for my Clients on Demand group. I want to, create some things. But then I thought to myself, I want to do this again in another quarter. So I've just blocked out the last week of June to go away again. And I'm so excited. And isn't it nice? It reminds me of a coach that I once had that said to me, there are 3 things you need in life: something to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. Well, I think I'm ticking all of those boxes at the moment. So it's all feeling really, 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 really good. And I just want you to know too that if you haven't blocked out any time to get away this year, maybe jump into your diary today or when you get into the practice and look at when you can make that happen, and just block it off. Even if you don't go anywhere and it's just going to be a staycation, do it. Just do it. Set little reminders up in your email so that people know that you're going away, and let people know all of that sort of stuff so nobody worries. But do go and block out that time, because I bet you when you disconnect and you allow yourself to be in that beautiful feminine energy, I bet when you come back to work, you're going to have inquiries, you're going to have new bookings, new referrals, money will have come into the practice, clients will have left because they don't need you anymore, which is always the goal, right? The goal is to do ourselves out of jobs, isn't it? And yeah, you're going to love it. So if you haven't, that's another piece of homework. So you've got those 2 things to do. Let me know if you get stuck with any of it. Call out in one of the groups that we've got, or send me a little email. Always get back to you. Thank you so much for listening to another episode, everyone. I can't wait to hear all your news and how you're going. And thank you very much for the emails and the messages. Have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.